Chapter 9. Trixie's body was completely unable to move. The burning pain in her head and her destroyed horn was unbearable. She would glare at Nightlight right now if she had any condition to do so. He stood over her. Even though he was still transformed, she knew he had a grin smug of satisfaction on his muzzle right now. Despite paralysis, she could see the surrounding ponies. Citizens had a stunned expression on their faces. Their heroes were brutalized. Little Dinky had tears in her eyes. There was despair and helplessness in the eyes of every pony around her. Her destroyed morpher crumbled to dust under Nightlight's hoof. Trixie gritted her teeth. She could not lose like this. She had her pride. Despite her head feeling like it had been trampled by a stampede of buffalo, she struggled slowly to her hose. She almost stumbled several times, but Trixie's determination won, though. She was on her hose now, glared right into Nightlight's visor. "This is it over?" Trixie rasped. She felt like she was about to collapse again, but stood her ground. "Really?" Nightlight sounded amused. He pointed his sword at Trixie. "You have nothing." As it answered his taunt, Nightlight cried out in alarm as an arrow of intense wind struck him from behind. It swallowed him whole and pulled him highly into the air. "Use the distraction!" Ditsy cried out. Nightlight screamed as an explosion engulfed his body. Smoke emanated from his body as he crashed to the ground, creating a crater in the pavement. Every pony cheered. "Trixie, you okay?" Ditsy asked in alarm. She gasped as she looked at what remained of Trixie's horn. "Your horn!" "I'm fine," Trixie said weakly. She pointed a shaky hoof at Nightlight. "Go kick his flank." "Damn you!" Nightlight wheezed. Got back on her his hose with a little difficulty. Ditsy took a protective stance in front of Trixie. "How dare you!" she growled. "Like fool, that did nothing at all," Nightlight mocked. He might have been right. He barely looked worse for wear. He charged at Trixie and Ditsy, sword ready. Ditsy visibly tense for battle, giving Raindrops the perfect distraction to jump out for the crowd. Exit hoof. "Wave Cleaver!" She hit Nightlight right home in the exposed flank. Water gathered around Raindrops' axe, forming a blade around the weapon. It smashed into him with the force of 1,000 tidal waves, knocking to the ground. The blade of water cut a deep hole underneath him. "This is nothing for the King of the Gods!" Nightlight yelled as he got back up again. Water dripped from his armor, filling the hole under him. Raindrops took a protective stance next to Ditsy, also trying to protect Trixie from her body. "You've gotta be kidding me," Ditsy said in disbelief. "He still isn't down?" Trixie was surprised that Nightlight was still relatively unhurt by that attack. Wait, no, that isn't true. There were still small cracks in his armor. They were hard to see, but they were there. "I'm going to kill you! That's enough!" Luna's loud voice boomed. Trixie winced at the volume. Princess Luna landed between Nightlight and Trixie's friends. She had her wings raised gracefully. "Princess!" Nightlight unmorphed and bowed respectfully. "Thank the stars you are here." "What is the meaning of this?" Princess Luna demanded. "I was trying to apprehend the criminal when those two ruffians attacked me," Nightlight explained. "What horse apples? You were attacking Trixie!" Dizzy yelled. She looked like she was about to jump around the princess and pummel Nightlight's face in. Raindrops glared dangerously at him. "Stand down, Fat Ditsy Do, and you as well, Fat Raindrops." Luna ordered. Ditsy gave a hesitant nod and unmorphed. Raindrops followed suit. "Trixie is under suspicion of embezzling Ponyville's Corona Relief Farm," Nightlight said. "She tried to escape, and I had to subdue her." "Subdue her?" Ditsy fumed. "Look what you did to her horn!" Princess Luna turned towards Trixie, and her eyes widened when she got a look at her student. "Trixie!" She pulled Trixie in a comforting hug, and the worn-out mare let her pull inside it. She wasn't in any condition to resist anyway. Princess Luna stroked her student's back, tears in her eyes. Trixie had never seen the princess so overcome with emotion. Princess Luna turned towards the Nightlight and gave him an intense glare. The Viceroy actually took a step back. The princess's stare could melt diamonds. "Did you do this?" she asked in a quiet voice. "That is what I would like to know as well," Greengrass said. He walked towards the crowd next to the princess with Cheerilee in tow. There was disapproval on the Duke's face. And much to Trixie's surprise, it looked 100% genuine. Cheerilee rushed to Trixie and gave her a huge hug. Her face was so terrified worry. Nightlight tried his best to gain composure back. He had been thoroughly rattled by the princess's glare. Yes, I had no choice. She was about to cast a spell to escape. Thought is no excuse, Princess Luna yelled. You do not need to take such an extreme measure to subdue a single unicorn. The police are discussing for such brutality. She waved a wing at her instruction caused by the fight. Not wanted. Nightlight looked like he was about to say something, but thought better of it. He bowed humbly. Yes, Princess, you are right. We will talk about this later, the princess promised. Several police officers with badges, indicating they were for a Caroline police force, suddenly rushed into the street from an alley. Viceroy Nightlight, there you are, one officer said. He saluted to Nightlight. He stared wide-eyed into nearby destruction and decided the princess, but quickly threw it out of his mind. We heard the disturbance. What is the situation? Officer, the matter's taken care of now, Luna said, sending a dirty look Nightlight's way. She seemed more like her old self. Go back to your duties. Nightlight held up a hoof. Wait. Report. Did you find anything at the representative's house? The officer gave another salute. Yes, sir. It's just as you expected. There is evidence of suspicious files in Miss Lunamoon's possession. They have been sent for further analysis. The entire crowd grasped in astonishment. Nightlight nodded, pointing towards Trixie. Good. Arrest that mare and the two Pegasi next to her. They attacked me unprovoked. What? No, we didn't. You attacked Trixie! Dizzy seed. She looked ready to pounce on Nightlight. Ranger's glare was one full of anger, a promise of violence if anybody tried to do anything to Trixie. You attacked a member of the Night Court. A serious offense indeed. Nightlight smiled smug, and Miss Lunamoon attacked me first. You expect us to believe that? Dizzy challenged. The tension in the air was palpable. Calm yourself, Miss Dew, Princess Luna soothed. As soon as she realized just how close everyone was to exploding into real fighting. Enough of this, Viceroy Nightlight. You are provoking more than Miss Dew's anger. None of Trixie's friends will be charged. They were protecting a friend. Princess. Nightlight was about to say, but Princess Luna interrupted him. That is final, Viceroy. You want to talk about laws when you yourself are called such property damage. Princess Luna gestured to the hole in the Ponyville library. In consequence, Trixie was... This time, Titsy interrupted him. You heard the princess! Shove it! Titsy yelled. Nightlight glared daggers at Titsy. He did not like being spoken to in such a disrespectful way. The crowd cheered when Titsy said that. Officer, you can arrest Trixie Lunamoon after she seeks medical attention, Princess Luna said gracefully. The damage to her was quite severe. It might lead to complications if not treated soon. Trixie gulped at that statement. The officer nodded. Porterville Hospital? Yes, that's to do nicely. The princess agreed. Come close, Trixie. I will bring you there myself. Oh, by the way, Nightlight, I want to, bring out a quote from the doctor on you for doing all this right in front of the princess and talking to her in such a tone. Nightlight is an imbecile! Trixie weakly walked up to her teacher, placed a sinking hoof on the princess' barrel. Trixie gave her friend a reassuring smile and a small wave. Braindrops, I want you to find Carrot Top and explain the situation. We will both meet you at the Ponyville Hospital, Charlie ordered. Raindrops accepted the door without question and took off in the air. Sorry, Duke, but we'll have to cut our time together short. I quite understand, Greengrass said graciously. Go to your friend. She needs you. I will look into this matter myself. I do not believe for a second Miss Luna would ever be so as Viceroy suggested. This has to be a mistake. Thank you, Greengrass, Shirley said in a quiet, respectful voice. She took off with her friends to the hospital. You'll have good friends, Princess Luna commented. Trixie gave a weak smile and nodded. Before Luna teleported away, she noticed something odd about Nightlight's morpher. The gem that gave Nightlight his powers had almost a small, imperceptible crack on it. She smirked. Maybe these new Rangers weren't as invincible as they seemed. She would find a way to fix her morpher, kick its tail into the sun. In a flash, he disappeared to the hospital. Greengrass tapped his hoof and tried his best to hide the anger he felt right now. They were in a hotel room at Ponyville. It was large, but simple, and not well furnished, but it suited their needs for the moment. Nori was watching the scene silently beside him. Final and Fisher had a scowl on their muzzles. What were you thinking? I thought we agreed that we both shared the same goal to win the public's trust. I can't believe I'm about to say this, but Duke Greengrass is right. Fister glared at Nightlight. What were you thinking? I got rid of the problem. Nightlight said curtly, Lula Moon is no threat to anybody now. Wonderful. If you overlook the fact that you made us seem like a bunch of complete brutes in front of the public! Greengrass growled. Did you see the way they looked at you? They will not trust us so easily now. We were to be seen as heroes. Yeah, and destroying Trixie Sword was so not cool, finally interjected. And you destroyed her morpher. We wanted to study that, Fister said, tapping a hoof on the floor, clear irritation. Nightlight smirked. What's done is done. Besides, why would you want such an inferior piece of technology anyway? Trixie and her morpher broke so easily. It doesn't matter. It should still be studied, Fister said in exasperation. Without their leader, the Galaxy Rangers are finished. The public will have to accept us as their protectors, whether they like it or not, Nightlight said with an air of smugness. I wouldn't count on Trixie Lunamoon out so soon, Solaris said. She crossed her front legs and grinned in amusement. Oh, really? Nightlight sounded like he had just heard an amusing joke. Did you know that the Colonel tried to destroy the elements of harmony to protect them from being used against her? Solaris asked. Greengrass perked his ears. He never heard about this. Nightlight listened intently. She shattered them to dust. It should have been over. But Trixie and her friends elements anyway. The rest is history, Solaris explained. Greengrass rubbed his chin. Ah, of course. If they were rebuilt before, why not again? Fister's eyes widened a grimace. This is a problem. Alright, it doesn't matter. Look at your morpher. Solaris instructed. Look at it closely. Nightlight rose an eyebrow, distracted. As he stared at it, not understanding what Solaris was talking about. They saw it. A small crack in his planetary gem. It took Specs back in shock. What? You see, the elements of harmony have the ability of regeneration. No matter how much their armor is damaged or destroyed, it will always be restored, Solaris said. So the armor can't be permanently destroyed. Alex stroked your head. Solaris nodded her head. Precisely. The planetary gems have vast power, but it isn't limitless. Think of them as a battery. Eventually you'll run out, and the gem and morpher will be useless, Solaris continued. The elements of harmony draw power from a source more powerful than the planet stores and even the god themselves. Nightlight stood up straight and presented his morpher to the scientist. Fix it! Solaris shook her head. I don't know how yet. You used the morphers before I could thoroughly test them. Nightlight glared at Solaris. Greengrass had a serious expression. I see. So their powers will outlast ours eventually. Solaris nodded. It depends on how much you use your powers, but yes. Keep in mind, barring extraneous activity and damage, that will take centuries. Those fillies are barely a threat then. Nightlight snoring into Zorius and we'll try it out. Greengrass's instincts weren't so sure. His gut told him the Rangers were a threat, and a dangerous one at that. He knew the Rangers had the ability to become stronger. They might not be a threat now, but would that always be the case? No. Greengrass knew their roots were deep. Trying to pull them out wouldn't get rid of them. Even without her horn, Greengrass sensed that Trixie was still a dangerous threat. She was far too dim to give up, and even he had no idea what stupid and reckless things she would next. Greengrass knew you can't plan for stupidity. It was time to speed up their timetable. Trixie was reclining on a bed, trying her best to stay patient. She hated doing nothing. Resting in a hospital bed was pure misery. There were some books on the table next to her, but she wasn't interested in reading. She just wanted to get out of there already. She couldn't, though. Not until the doctor came back with the results of the scans he had taken her. Trixie stayed in the release she wouldn't have to stay the night. The doctor told her that she only had exhaustion, and her horn was only the real issue. Trixie growled when she saw what happened to her horn. Oh, she would make Nightlight pay for this, that was certain. She was equally furious she couldn't do that show for Carrot Top. The loss of her magic hurt, but it was nothing compared to the pain of not being able to help her friend, who was in such dire need. She had been planning for days for that event, and now it had to be completely rewritten so it didn't require magic. That would take time the desperate farmer didn't have. She was going to do it, though, even if it killed her. She had to drag herself across the stage on the ground. She was not going to let Carrot Top down. On a better note, Trixie didn't think the damage to her horn was too severe. Right now, her horn was just a stump covered by a bandage. They had to cut the stump down for our own safety. Somewhere, Tempest is still thinking, I completely get you. She knew a unicorn's horn would grow back in time. Oh, sure, would it? But this was only an annoying setback. A unicorn's horn was made out of keratin after all, same as a pony's hooves. Sure. Keep on telling me that. Vic, you're making Tempest sad, okay? You're making her upset. And considering that she is a complete and utter badass and, just walked into the studio, why are you in my studio? Oh, I came here to buy a book. This is a bookstore, after all. You know, as many times as we record in this studio and things happen, I sometimes forget that, yes, this is a bookstore. I was just looking for that book on the Heroes of Balance you were talking about. Oh, yeah, right down that way, under B's. Throughout a unicorn's life, their horn never stopped growing, about 0.5 inches a year. Thankfully, there are spells to hasten the process. It would take a few months of magical therapy to get back to normal size. The doctor was just checking for any serious damage to the base of her horn, containing important nerves that might cause serious complications. Complications that could seriously disrupt a unicorn's ability to cast magic and make it unstable. There will have been cases of unicorns developing mental health issues from a damaged horn. That was why the doctor was taking this case so seriously. About 10 minutes later, the doctor finally came into her room. He had a serious face, but a small smile on it. How are you feeling, Miss Little Moon? The doctor greeted.
Trixie, thank you, and that's fine. Just tired.
Trixie responded.
Well, what did the scan say?
The doctor nodded and opened a folder with a picture of the MRI scan of her head. The inside of her head was cool and everything. It looked like just a brain to her, so he had no idea what he was looking at. Everything looks good, Trixie, the doctor said warmly. No damage to your frontal lobe and your horn's nerves endings. Trixie sighed relief. I want to get you get plenty of rest for the next few days. Otherwise, you should be fine. The doctor gave Trixie a piece of paper. This has contact information for Spellworks, a magical therapist in Kerala who specializes in regrowing damaged horns.
Oh, now there's one!
I would recommend scheduling an appointment with him right away. Trixie planned to have that done tomorrow. She couldn't bear the thought of not having her horn back for even a day longer than necessary. Magic was her special talent, after all. It would also give her the opportunity to search for Pokey, who was still missing. Trixie was starting to get really worried about him. Trixie ran to the front counter with the checkout sheet in her hose. Already not having her magic was really annoying. She kept forgetting she didn't have it, tried using it on instinct. Her friends, Bonbon, Dinky, in the room, waiting patiently for her. They grinned when she entered the lobby. Trixie was eager to give them the good news. After finishing up at the desk, she started towards them, while several police officers went in front of her. Trixie recognized them as the officers from before, though there were a few new faces. One pony stood out from the rest, though. This stallion had a tan trench coat on. He had a messy brown mane with a coat of rusty orange color. His cutie mark was very odd on his flank. A pony's nose. Nightlight was with them. It looked like he was holding back a self-satisfied smirk. Trixie's friends were not happy with this development. Lou's mouth was in a tight line. Iris was enraged and was about to pounce on all the offenders. Raindrop's voice darkened and promised violence. Thankfully, the rest of Trixie's friends were more level-headed and just scowled.
Alfred!
Trixie growled. Couldn't she get a moment's rest?
Look, I just got out of the hospital. I know you have plenty of questions about the so-called suspicious documents, but I am not well enough right now.
The officer in front glared a penetrating stare. Trixie Little Moon, you're under arrest for the murder of Pokey Pierce. You have the right to remain silent. Bum, bum, bum.